Cool.
Okay. So just to kick us off, state your full name for us, and then just tell us a little bit about where you're from.
Okay, my name is Dr. Loretta Pearl Dilworth Cox. I am from Austin, Texas, born and raised.
Oh.
Okay. Can you tell us what part of Austin you from and what was it like growing up in that community?
I grew up in East Austin. Growing up in, in this community, I really didn't grow up around my homestead because I was always in the salon.
Mm.
So I came home to shower, brush my teeth, and get back in the car with my mother and get back to the salon.
We.
Working
So
hard.
I grew up around the salon area most of my
Okay.
life.
Okay. And so, and Nicole, feel free to jump in. We can just switch back and forth with the questions.
Yeah, we could do
But
that.
then I'm wondering how you would describe your hometown community and what was its impact on your personal growth?
My hometown community, it started out with um, growing up with my mother and her sister. Her sister had a salon in her home.
Mm.
My mother's rented out a little area space that she started the House of Elegance in.
Wow.
And when urban renewal took over that community area, um, my mother was seeking a place for the House of Elegance to be in.
Mm.
So it was a very, very modest area. A lot of small Black businesses was in the community. Like the area was right off of East 12th Street.
Mm.
There was barbecue places, there were clubs, there were stores that were owned by Black people.
Mm.
So that's all that I knew
Mm.
most of my life growing up. Mhm.
Yeah. And I want to make sure that we get this. So that would be your aunt, you said, who started the salon out of her home.
Well, she started a salon out of her
Got
house.
you. Got you.
My mother started her business out of my aunt's salon. Trying to come
Got
up.
you. Got
And
you.
what was your mother's name?
My mother's name,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Ella Mae Pease.
Yep.
Doctor runs in the family.
So you know I had to follow suit, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And
I would be remiss if I did not.
and what was your aunt's name as well? I'm curious.
Berlin Govan.
Got you. Got you. So y'all been keeping this in the family for a while, it seems like.
For a mighty long time. Now, my mother actually wanted to be a barber, but her mother wasn't having it.
Mm.
My grandmother worked on the farm, and she, did stuff out in the country, doing cows and what have you. But my mother she's always wanted to play with hair. So she got in trouble a lot because she would cut some of the horse's hair to put on her dog. So she did, yes. So she did a lot of beauty work doing her young.
Wow.
And so, at what point in that transition from like, I'm going with my mama to go work, did you realize, I think I want to take over. I want to do the same thing. I want to also work in the salon instead of, picking to do something else, a different job.
Okay. Well, for me, I originally wanted to do something other than hair.
Mm.
Oh my God. When you grow up in the salon, eating hair, sleeping in hair, you had enough.
Yeah.
I decided to go into the nail industry, which is part of the umbrella of cosmetology.
Mm-hmm.
I did nails, I did lashes, I did skincare. Well, that was something that the House of Elegance didn't offer at all because number one, the Black community did not do the nails at the time. They were doing good just getting the hair done. They didn't do the skincare and what have you. So it was just one thing that kind of changed the magnitude of the salon at the time. Well, I also didn't want to work in the salon with my mother because I just felt like it was just too much, and the expectancy of me was different than what I really wanted for myself. So I took that learning from the nails and what have you, and went to another salon where there was predominantly just nails. There was not any of us there because, like I said, we weren't doing our nails at the time, and of course skincare as well. So once I figured out that they were starting to come that direction, having their nails done, having the skincare done, I decided to move back to the east side because I was more accessible, and there was not many of us or any of us like me that were doing nails.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, definitely didn't know that. So I guess I want to rewind just a little bit to talk about the earlier time of the House of Elegance. So when it first was established, and I guess I'm wondering why a salon? You know, is there any particular reason that your mother kind of got into that business, and is there any particular reason that your aunt was into that business very early on that you know of?
Not that I know of, besides just a love for doing
Mm-hmm.
hair, or for the lack of doing their own hair.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And who all was like involved when your mother first started to get it up and running? Did she do it all by herself, or did she have other people helping her?
Um, well, there was one other young lady that worked with my aunt. Of course, by that time, my aunt had passed, and she was needing a place to work as well. So Miss P kind of looked around, and her husband as well, which I mean to mention that he had a paint shop that was right on East 12th Street, what was around the corner from the where Miss P's salon is now, what was. And I guess he kind of heard through the grapevine that they had a building that was going to be available. And he said, well, babe, I think there's going to be a building. You want you to come and look at it? Sure enough, she looked at it and she said, oh, I can make this work. And it just started off from there.
Wow. Wow. So I hear you talking about your mom a lot, and I'm curious as to how would you let's just start here. How would you describe your mother and what she meant to you?
Miss Pease was innovative. She was intuitive to the different structure of beauty, because she not only was she doing hair, but she taught cosmetology. She taught cosmetology at Madam Christian School. She taught at Prairie View University for CEU classes during the summertime. So she was on top of the cosmetology game. You had teachers that were needing services before they were go to teach their classes, elementary school, whatever it was. And she was always available for those teachers so they can look good in front of their classes and what have you. And that's what really started the House of Elegance being really, really popular, because not only was there a few teachers, there were principals who make sure that they brought their wives in, and there were other so-called dignitary, Barbara Jordan, different folks who came in and had the services because the word of mouth had gotten out there.
Wow. Wow.
And she worked from morning till pitch dark night.
It sounds like it. It sounds like it.
Hard worker. So did your mother have formal like cosmetology training, or was it just she was kind of self-taught and was able to teach that to other people?
Now repeat that question for me again.
Did she have formal cosmetology training or
Oh
like
yes. Oh yes. 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 Yes.
where did she go?
And I couldn't tell you because now she has dementia. She can't tell me.
Okay.
So I don't remember the school. I want to say she went to Madam Christian, and then from there she became an instructor.
Okay.
Because even now, once you get your cosmetology license, you can go right back in and get your instructor license.
Oh, okay. Wow, I didn't
Hmm.
know
And while we're talking about that, what about your own training? Did you also go to Madam Christian as well?
No, Madam Christian was when I was a knee high to a duck.
Mm,
So it was no longer in existence when I came around. I went to Audie Nall cosmetology school, and it was over off of Lamar.
mm,
From there, I got, like I said, got my nail license and my skincare license. And then by the time I got my cosmetology license, I went to Baldwin Beauty School over on Burnett Road.
okay.
And mind you, it's almost 30 years in between that time to get
Mm,
my nail license and get my hair license.
Was that just out of like you found the time then, or what?
No,
What?
okay. Initially, it was because that's all I wanted to do was nails.
Mhm.
Then I started noticing that the Orientals were taking over the nail industry. And what I was charging for nails, I was no longer able to get that price for the nails.
mm,
Mm.
Now, after that, um, something told me that I'm gonna need to do something if I want to stay in the beauty industry. And I probably could have stayed in the skincare line area, which is still very well represented now. But I found that just doing that was not enough. So I went and got my cosmetology license. And when
mm.
I should have done was did like my mother really wanted me to do my cosmetology license first, and all of that would have been under the same umbrella.
Mhm.
So I took the long way around.
Mm.
But you
But you
got there.
got it done though. That's all that
Yes,
matters.
yes, I did.
Exactly.
That's all that matters. And so I'm also wondering about Madam Christian as well. And so I'm wondering if you could just tell us more about her and who she was, and kind of her impact on the House of Elegance. And you've already kind of went over some of this, but
Well, I don't know enough about Madam Christian to really speak on her.
got you.
Besides that, I know she was a very firm woman about teaching. She also stayed right around the corner from where House of Elegance last
Mm,
home was. And she really took a lot into my mom's teaching
mm,
because, like I said, you have to do CEU classes. And besides CEU, you go into fields that really interest you the most. And for her was hair weaving.
mm,
And she really made that her number one thing. But Madam Christian, I mean, she was a hard sister,
mm.
but she had the vision of a beauty school. And my mother have friends now. I mean, they are still around that talk about Madam Christian School. It's
Wow,
amazing.
wow. And
Let's
so
talk. Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead, Nicole. You got it.
I was gonna ask if we could talk a little bit about the Chase building, the actual building that was House of Elegance. I know you mentioned that like your dad or her husband had seen it and was like, "Hey, I think you might want to buy this building." Like, how did y'all go about actually like acquiring it?
Um, the Texas, the my brain that just went dead. The building,
Hmm.
Color Teachers Association, excuse me, um, was in the process of moving because they had merged with the Teachers Association to so the teachers can be treated fairly across the board.
Mhm.
Um, and so in the midst of them merging, the building became available. And so the House of Elegance acquired it after that.
Was that process very smooth? Do you know, or like, did she face any like backlash at all?
Not that I'm aware of. They really, the community, at least the neighborhood, really welcomed her. Um, no backlash that I can remember her speaking of, but um, yeah, I can't remember anything that was opposed to her being there.
Hmm. And I also want to talk a little bit about, are you familiar with who John Chase is?
A little bit. Hmm.
How do you think his legacy impacted the development of House of Elegance, if at all?
Not as of House of Elegance, but the surrounding communities, like churches that were around the corner from the building. He designed that. In other parts of the neighborhood, he designed different things. So just the idea that he designed that building for the Color Teachers Association was actually rich in history, because not only did he build it, then the Color Teachers Association was there, and then the House of Elegance.
Mhm. Right. And so I hear you keep coming back to the community a lot. You know, you're talking about how the House of Elegance was in the community, you know, the impact of John Chase on the community. And so I'm just wondering if you could talk about, you know, what was the significance of having, you know, a black-owned salon in East Austin at a time where, you know, the city was still really racially segregated.
Um, well, to have a salon in the East Austin during that time was pretty huge, actually,
Right.
because most of the salons were out of homes.
Mm-hmm.
And so to have a salon that had 4 or 5 stylists in it and being black owned was almost unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think she kind of got that vision from just being in the beauty school, where you have an array of students all doing hair at the same time. It just kind of clicked for her to have more than one, or have just a small little place like mine here. This is just me in my salon now, and it's in the home. So
Mm-hmm.
kind of went back to my roots.
Right. All come full circle eventually, huh?
Yes, yes.
And, and and so I guess a follow up to that question would be, you know, that you know Mrs. Pease wasn't just you know a hairstylist. You know, she didn't just do cosmetology, but she meant so much more to the community. And so
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you could speak to what did she mean for the broader East Austin community, and what was her legacy that she left?
Well, she has not only one, but she has several. Miss Peace also started the Miss Black Austin Beauty Pageant.
Wow, I did not know. Wow.
I didn't
Wow.
Yes,
either.
yes. And from that, the salon sponsored a lot of the funds, scholarships from right off before people start donating, what have you, to the Miss Black Austin Beauty Pageant. Um, like I said, we would toil day and night, doing hair for the contestants, coaching them. Sometimes we would be out in the parking lot, just, letting them walk through the parking lot, and how they walk on the stage. And because not, let me go back. The Paramount Theater allowed us to have some of our pageants there. I'm trying to remember prior to that. No, Paramount is the only place that I can remember us having the pageant. We, excuse me, we once thought about doing it down at Doris Miller, but it got so huge that it was citywide. A lot of the students from UT were participating because they were looking for scholarship money. Young ladies that grew up in the neighborhood, that knew about the Miss East Austin, which is a
Mm-hmm.
community pageant,
Mm-hmm.
wanted to go to the next level. And Miss Black Austin was the next level. And then from there, Miss Pease would have those girls go to The state pageant was Miss Black Texas, and then there was Miss Black Universe. So we traveled with these young ladies. We just didn't send them off. We traveled with them, trained them, and made sure that they were able to get to the next level. Now we hired people that were in the community. We had Beulah Agnes that did the music. She talked, if they were singing, the ladies would sing. Ms. Pease made sure that we had an attorney. We had choreographers. I mean, these are people that were in the community. So she gave them extra jobs to have. Some did it voluntarily, and then others just kind of, get a little change on the side. The people like Jimmy Snell and Bertha Means, these are people in our community that acted as judges for the pageant. So Miss Peace knew a lot of people from, like I said, doing the hair, and then, exposing Austin to this. Now, she also was a part of one of the, well, it is the only Black cosmetology association, which is the Texas State Cosmetology, which is still in existence today. It's not as big as it was then, but it is in existence today. And she became, I know, up to the second vice president. And she taught at the Institute. And she was just busy. And of course, she drugged me around with her busyness. And all in all, it's not bad, because now I'm associated with the cosmetology, Texas State of Cosmetology. And now I am second vice president. Following her legacy is not easy.
Right. Yeah. It sounds like your plate is full too.
Yes, I'm learning how to work it out.
Yeah. So go ahead, Nicole. You got it.
So based off things that you said, it sounds like your mother really valued community and that community engagement. So I want to ask, like, in what ways do you see yourself doing those things with your business?
Well, I guess there are a few things that I probably could do and do better. And one of them is to stay involved with the community. There's not, well, I can't say there's not. There is a group called Forklift that I became associated with through them knowing that I was one of the beauty queens that was Miss Black Austin. And they have utilized me on several occasions, like putting me on boards and what have you, to practice and learn and share, with people in the community, because that's who they work with, it's the community. So just keeping my ear to the ground about what's needed and seeing if there's something that I can do to participate. And teaching my grandkids about what's going on and what had gone on and who we are as a family.
Do any of your children or your grandkids, like, do they also show interest in the beauty industry?
I have a son that once thought about being a barber, and he said, I don't want to do that, Mom. Because my plans was to leave a legacy for him, leave the salon for him to open up a barbershop. Now, he didn't have to do hair, but he could have managed it. But he said, I'm done. I don't want to do that. So his thing is communications, and I'm not mad at him.
Oh, how nice.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned just in the importance of kind of preserving that history, for your family. But I'm also wondering too, as the community is changing, East Austin especially is going through a lot of changes. So what's the importance of preserving the history of the House of Elegance, just for the East Austin community in general?
Well, that hopefully that by the community engagement that you guys are associated with, that they will keep some of the material that I had preserved inside the building. So whenever someone comes around or they're doing a community tour of Black history or whatever, that they would put that building on the marker for them to come and look at and see and know the history not only of John Chase but the House of Elegance as well. Mhm. Because I'm not knowing many other businesses, up and down 12th or that were Black owned, that they have markers for those Black businesses beside the funeral homes.
Yeah, yeah. It's not too many of them. That's for sure. So what do you hope that people take away from the story of the House of Elegance? That's still living and still being made today. What do you hope that people take away?
That Black beauty are being beautified by people like Miss Dr. Pease, that they know that they are beautiful, knowing that, man, she could really curl some hair. Oh, she was awesome when I got married, or there were just so many different people that if you had a chance to speak with them, you would be in awe. Because just here this week, one of her clients that used to go to her when she was young or a young mother, called Miss Pease just this week and said, Miss Pease, I miss you so much. No one could do my hair like you. And just to hear different people speak of her, it's just, it's heartwarming. And I'm glad that they had that experience. If you two get a chance to go on YouTube and pull up House of Elegance, you will find the humor and the love and everything that people that came from afar having the hair done that would speak so highly of her.
Mm-hmm. We actually watched that video.
We did.
You did?
We did. And we know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Kind of comical. but you felt the love, didn't you?
100%.
Yeah, you felt the love and the people who just loved Miss Pease, and how I was taught. Because that pole weaving that you saw in the video, you don't find many people doing that anymore. And that's what I'm teaching at the Institute now, is her hair weaving. Mm-hmm.
So what kind of legacy specifically do you want to leave behind? We talked about your mother. What about you?
Well, I don't know how much legacy I'm going to leave behind, but I have some old stuff, like I said, the Miss East Austin, and was able to work with them for a long period of time. Miss Black Austin, homecoming queen, that little stuff that was way back in decades ago. And maybe now that maybe I'm the first Black nail tech that was on this side of town after Miss Pease, should I say. Or maybe that I still use the name House of Elegance to represent the salon I have here. So I don't know how much of a legacy I'm going to leave behind, but I hope that somebody think that I'm worth something.
Well, I think you're worth something. It's amazing. I definitely think you're going to leave a legacy.
Awesome. Thank you.
Creating that legacy right now. And then I know we don't want to take up too much of your time, but I'm really curious as to your salon today, and how you would characterize how the House of Elegance, you said it still has the same name, and so how do you still see that playing into your work right now with the salon that you have?
like I said, it's a one man shop. I still do all of the services besides just the nails. I do pedicures. I do hair weaving. I do all the latest stuff, the cutting, the coloring, the all the stuff that's under that umbrella. Um, and hopefully that my neighbors will start coming. And of course, the diversity of the neighborhood has changed immensely. So them being aware that this sister can do their hair as well, and they just don't know. They haven't ventured out to find out.
Mm-hmm.
And Nicole, did you have anything else?
I did have one more question. So how do you go about like communicating the services that you provide in the community?
Well,
Is it just word of mouth or?
majority is word of mouth. I'm not trying to work that hard. I'm trying to service the people that came with me from the House of Elegance, and if they pass the word on, ditto. I'm good, but I'm not trying to work that hard. Miss Pease broke me in, and she broke me. Anybody
Yeah,
that sun up to sunset, to sun up again,
yeah,
that's a phenomenal woman to me.
I
I
agree.
I can't do it. I
I
can't.
agree. I remember as a child having to get up at the crack of dawn to go get my hair done.
Yes, and it better not rain because then what do you have?
A problem.
Right? Oh
Oh,
my God. I have a couple of clients now. I don't care what time or when they schedule their appointment, it always rains.
that is the worst. That is the worst.
It is. It is.
Oh,
But
Jeremy,
yeah.
do you have
Yeah.
anything else?
I'm
Um,
just. Oh no, go ahead, Dr. Cox.
no, I was just thinking, was there anything else I really want to share with you that maybe I didn't see on the questions, but I can't think of anything right off.
Well, if it ever comes to you, you could always hit us up. We would love to have another conversation with you. I think it's so much to talk about here. So definitely
Oh,
would love to talk again if it comes back to you.
awesome. Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Yes,
I
ma'am.
am extremely proud of you guys for having the interest, um, being where you are with your degrees. Oh my God. We need more of you doing it on a regular. And
Yeah.
Yes,
so I
ma'am.
thank you for your interest and the love you have for your career.
Most definitely. And thank you. I mean, people like you and Mrs. Pease, y'all paved the way for me to be Dr. Horn someday. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You all really.
In the trenches.
100%.
Honestly.
Oh my God.
Oh,
But
yes,
yeah.
I 100% agree. This has been really amazing. Just like learning about the House of Elegance, like the rich history of the John Chase Building in general. Like
Yes.
it's very eye opening experience.
Well, I know when I was looking into making a historical marker for that building, one of the ladies, a teacher, Nancy Brown, she was the one who encouraged me to look into having it done. She says, because this, she told me about the building, she told me about what they did, and so she gave me a little book that the Color Teachers Association had printed out, and I don't have it to this day because I let somebody borrow it, and about the history of what the Color Teachers Association did and how they used to meet in homes, and just a lot of interesting information. And that's what encouraged me to get the state marker and then get the national marker. But that was a long haul. It took me every bit of 10 years because I start and I stop. I start and I stop. I start and I stop. So, it's just if you want history to maintain, you just have to be interested. It's just that simple.
Definitely.
I agree.
And appreciate your persistence in doing that. You know, that history is definitely important to maintain.
By the grace of God.
Most definitely. Matter of fact, Nicole, you mind if we start recording?
Yeah, I can stop recording.
Okay, thank you.